didn't realize, I always knew the importance of family, but I didn't know how special my family was until I left to go to college. When I went to college, that's when I realized that people's family dynamics are so different. That because of the type of family that I have, I've always was celebrated. It was always important for me to feel special. It was always important to, for my parents to celebrate me. It was always important just to feel seen. And they're both grandmothers, and how they've always had kids in their home. And so of course they had their own children, but their children would bring their friends over who may not have had the best home, or, that my grandparents' home was a safe place for them. And so it's interesting because I one day want to be a foster parent and, want to be a parent to a child that isn't mine. And so it's so interesting to see, like, wow, I had grandparents that, opened their home to other people. And now, one day I want to get to the point where I open my home to someone else. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video of Brianna Thizard's journey. Thank you to everyone who has supported me thus far. Of course, as always, as all the YouTubers say, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know of anyone who would be interested in this type of content, please feel free to share this with them. So today we are going to be talking about family. And so I don't really have one particular point when it comes to family, but I kind of want to just talk about family. So just to give you a little bit of background about me. So my dad is from Haiti and my mom's side of the family is from Guyana. And two very, very vibrant cultures, amazing food, great music. It's just such a heavy culture, two big, amazing, big cultures. And so I would say when it comes to family, I always knew the importance of family, but I didn't know how special my family was until I left to go to college. When I went to college, that's when I realized that people's family dynamics are so different. The idea of family for people are just so different. And so for me, I came from a very supportive, very loving family. We're the type of, and of course never perfect, but definitely the type of family that, say for instance, it's Thursday and someone's like, hey, we're having a birthday party for so-and-so on Saturday. Everybody shows up. So like, that's kind of an idea of what that family looks like. If there's something going on or there's any support needed, like our family is there. Like we are very hands-on family. We're very tight-knit family. And when I say family, I don't mean just brother and sister. I mean aunts and uncles and cousins. And so that's my upbringing. And so when I went to college, I realized that there are some people who may have, of course, had family, but just weren't very close to their family, or came from a family that wasn't as supportive and wasn't as hands-on. And some people didn't have great relationships with their parents or siblings, and just realizing that there's so many different dynamics. But I think that going to college was definitely that eye-opener, like, wow, families look so different. And I think a lot of times when you look at people's origin or where they come from, and we're looking at their family dynamic, you're able to learn a lot about them. And of course, we never get to choose what family that we're in. Like you're born and you're in this family. But I think it explains a lot about who you are as a person and what you're currently doing in life, or where you're going in life, or where you have been. And so for me, I am on the journey of building a nonprofit organization, which is Memories Foundation. And that's where we celebrate the birthdays and milestones for youth in foster care, specifically in Prince George's County. At least we're starting in Prince George's County, and of course are going to go beyond. But because of the type of family that I have, I've always was celebrated. It was always important for me to feel special. It was always important to, for my parents to celebrate me. It was always important just to feel seen. And so because I had that experience, and because that was something that became so important to me, now it's like my cup is overflowing, and I'm able to do that for other people. So with Memories Foundation, if you don't know about the organization, what we do is, specifically when it comes to the birthdays, we have a birthday form request online. You fill it out if you know a youth in foster care, and we have a birthday package, a treat of their choice, a birthday card, and treat, a card, and a birthday gift of their choice. We put it all in a package. We go to their front door, we deliver it, and we sing happy birthday as volunteers to the youth's home. And so I wanted to do that for youth in foster care because I realized that, of course, you are a lot of times in an unstable environment. You may be going from home to home. And I just wanted to make sure that, I know what it feels like to feel seen. I know what it feels like to be celebrated. I know what it feels like when it's your birthday, that you feel like it's all about you. And I feel like even though a child might not be in a home where that is where they won't be where they may not be celebrated, or come from a similar upbringing, that you should still be able to have that feeling. And so know that might not come from your mom or dad or your sibling or your blood family, but there are people that care about you, and there are people that are going to make sure that you feel celebrated. And so I think a lot of times when you go back to like my origin, you can see like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. That's why, you are the way you are. Just even listening to stories about my grandmother, both grandmothers, and how they've always had kids in their home. And so, of course, they had their own children, but their children would bring their friends over who may not have had the best home, or, that my grandparents' home was a safe place for them. And so it's interesting because I one day want to be a foster parent and, want to be a parent to a child that isn't mine. And so it's so interesting to see like, wow, I had grandparents that, opened their home to other people. And now, one day I want to get to the point where I open my home to someone else that is not my blood family. And so it's just so interesting to just see how things get passed down without you even knowing. Because when I made the decision to become a foster parent, I didn't really know that my grandparents did that. But of course, over time, you learn more stories. You're like, wow, well, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. That makes a lot of sense. But I just really wanted to talk about just family, just the importance of it, and just even in my walk in learning more about foster care and just the overall child welfare system, just realizing how family is so important. Your support system is so important. The people in your home really do build you up, in that, I'm so thankful that I was able to have that experience of having great parents who were able to just really assist me throughout my whole life. It wasn't until 18. I mean, when you're Caribbean, the 18 thing is not really even a thing. So I know a lot of times in American culture, it's like, once you're 18, you're out of here, but that was never a thing. And so even still to this day, having support from my family, having support from my parents has just been so pivotal, very pivotal. Oh my goodness. It has been very pivotal. Okay, y'all, I think it's too late. It's been very pivotal in my life's journey. And so I'm just thankful for just my dynamic, just knowing that as I continue to grow as an activist against human trafficking and be a child welfare advocate, and just really reflecting on my life journey, I'm just so thankful for family. I know the importance of family. And because I was treated the way I was treated growing up, I want to make sure that when I have my children one day, that they feel loved. And of course, everybody wants to be loved in a different way, but just making sure that they have that household where they feel like, I feel seen, I feel loved, I feel like because I was given so much, now I'm able to give to others. And so, of course, I'm not saying my kids have to be advocates for youth in foster care or have to be anti-trafficking activists, but I want the love to be so strong that they're able to give that out in the world. And so I know that also when it comes to family also looks very different. I came from, my mom and dad. I had my siblings at home, and that was our home within our home, right? But with me, I have had this calling of becoming a foster parent. And so I know that family is going to look very different for me. Of course, I want to have biological children as well, but biological children and foster children and maybe even adopted child. So I just know that I'm not going to really have that nuclear family. And so I'm excited to embark on that journey as well. Just to, I haven't seen that in my family yet. So, I had an aunt who was a foster parent, so I did see that. But, it'll be interesting when I get to that point of me just having my own family, but just taking those core values of what I've learned and being able to instill that into my children and even the children that may not be in my home, of course, because with the nonprofit, we're serving youth. And so making sure that they, just really that love that I was poured, that the love that was poured into me to pour onto others. And so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about family. That was just something when I do my YouTube videos, I always think about, okay, what is something that I want to talk about? What's something that's been on my heart? And I think right now, just being in a space of such gratitude of knowing like I am where I am, of course, because of God, but because of how strong of a support system that I have throughout my life. It's just been so important. And as I continue to grow again with being an activist and being an advocate, I learned that family is everything and not everyone has that, but it's so important for us as a community to be a family to people who do not have a family. And so learning again more about youth and foster care, just like, okay, I might not be your birth mom, but here's how I'm going to celebrate you. Here's how the Volunteers for Memories Foundation is going to celebrate you. And just knowing that family is not always blood. And that is definitely something that's been on my heart as well, because again, when I one day become a foster parent, I am going to be called to love this child like my own, and that is not going to be my blood child. So yeah, that is what I wanted to talk about. And what I know everybody has different dynamics as well. Like of course, I feel like this is with YouTube. Of course, it's just me talking to a camera, and then of course there's you who's watching the video. But if you feel called to comment, what was your family like growing up? And of course, another thing I want to touch on as well is that with family, of course, there are things that you don't like. And so, just what are some things that you didn't like growing up, and what are the things that you would change with your new family? I think that's something that's cool as well. Like, I'm excited to one day meet my man. When I do meet my purpose partner, I definitely I'm going to be interested to see how, we took parenting from what we learned from our different households, and what are we going to take? What are we going to implement? What are we not going to implement? So I think that's super interesting as well. But I'm just, overall thankful for the family that I have, that I have. They're still here. They're going to be here for a very long time. But I'm thankful for my current family. I'm thankful for my cousins. I'm, even when it comes outside of just my parents and my siblings, even just having so many cousins that I really don't feel like I need to have friends. And so I'm thankful that I have friends, but we're such an army. Like, there's so much of us, like the support is just there. And so again, I feel like all of our cups overflow. And then of course, everyone has a different experience, but it's just so amazing to see so much love, and not only love between parents and their children, but also seeing, your aunts being loved properly by your uncles, and your cousins getting married and having their children, and just really seeing happy and healthy relationships is just so important to see. So not only having a great childhood, but just seeing positive images of relationships, not perfect, but positive. And so I'm just so thankful for that. And again, I just pray that everything that I was given, that I'm able to give out. And so, yeah, so this is also a thank you message to God. Like, thank you for the family that I have. And I'm just excited one day to have my own family. And again, it's going to be not very much a nuclear family, but just everything that I've learned and everything that I felt. And I just want to be able to give that onto other children. And so, yeah, this is my episode on family. This is not a long one. And of course, as we continue to have our episodes throughout the year, just going to be expanding on the topics that I've already talked about. But this is just a little overview of my family and my origin. And I think it's important to talk about, your upbringing and where you come from, because it just explains the type of person that you are and what you're doing in life. So thank you all for watching. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe. And if this content is something that someone that that may be interested, please share this with them. And we're going to be back again next week, Sunday, on Brianna Thazard's Journey. So thank you again for all of your support, and have a great Sunday.